Welcome back to Procrastination Garage. My name's Matt. Alright, it's Thursday. I've already done the video stuff for this week and I'm coming in late to do the intro. I had high hopes. I had a lot of things I had planned for this week. Unfortunately, the one that I worked on, which you'll see is a riding mower that's not my normal riding mower, consumed a lot more time than I thought. And then add that to the fact that I'm headed out of town tomorrow, have to have this video done today, and I've got a big project going on over the weekend, which will be in next week's video. So that's how I got to where I'm at now. So anyway, just sit back and enjoy the content, or maybe just scroll on past now. It depends what you want to do. Now I hope you stick around. Dog and I decided another day in the mountains was in order. And look at there, we towed it up with the green truck. Actually, we're meeting some friends and we're going to clear some trees out of a road so it'll be better for the snowmobile trail groomer this winter. Dog and I are just waiting, taking a little bit of a break. Our friends are coming, but they're in pickups. And they've got to come up the road, and it's a rough little road, the last bit of it we've been on. I hear them, I don't see them. Here comes one, an old Bruiser Ford. Don't know where the dainty Dodge Cummins is. Oh, I see the Cummins, he's coming as well. Okay, I wanted to insert this in the video right here. I owe you guys an apology. This segment's pretty much over. I had good intentions of doing some more video and taking some pictures. We got busy. We ended up cutting out about 24 trees, and then we cut them into firewood sized chunks and went and delivered them to the warming hut. So I didn't do any more video, and for that I apologize. The only reason I'm including it all is I just wanted to show you guys that I wasn't just slacking the whole week, that I actually got some other things going on. So there you go. If you watched earlier videos on this, you'll see I was chasing an exhaust leak. Well, I think the exhaust leak has got the better of me. I think I've got head gasket problems on the right side for sure, probably the passenger side as well. As you can tell, the thing didn't want to start. It's been getting harder to start. Now the weather's gotten cold, it just about wouldn't start at all. Definitely had to hook the battery pack up to it. So this one's done for the season, but unfortunately mowing season isn't quite over yet. So what's the guy to do? I could fire up the old Murray with the 40-inch deck. Other than a dead battery, it should be running just fine. A little hard to shift, it's a manual, and since it's been sitting, the transmission gets real stiff on it. I've had this one since the early 2000s. The problem is, it doesn't have a bagger on it, and we're coming into leaf season, so that's a problem. I'm hoping a better option is this Craftsman here, GT6000. This was given to me by my neighbor and friend Mitch, and while it doesn't have a bagger with it, I have a bagger I think that'll go on this, but this machine isn't without issues. Alright, the nasty seat probably isn't really an issue. That won't stop it from running as long as the switches under it are okay. No, the problem is out here at the front. You can see she's a little wobbly. That tire there, not the tire, it's probably not even the wheel, it's probably the little plastic bearing insert thing inside of it. That's an issue. So maybe I can harvest the one off of my Craftsman mower, and it should fire up. I rode it here and parked it, oh, I don't know, 6 months, 9 months ago. So then the only question is, will my bagger fit on it? It looked like Mitch had a mulching kit on it, but where the mount is there looks to be the same as on my deck. Then the other area of concern is back here, and again, that looks to be the same as on mine. And this is the mower I've got to work with. There's the bagger. Again, you can't really tell, but the mounting area looks to be about the same. And it's got two good wheels on it, so I'm thinking I could maybe borrow a wheel from it and the bagger. But first, let's make sure that other mower's even going to run. Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't even try this one without putting a battery pack on it, right? Key on. Nope. Yeah. Nothing. Let's hook the battery pack up and see what happens. 7.5 volts. Yeah, that wouldn't get the job done. Take it up to 12 too. Now let's see what happens. Well, at least she makes noises. I got the choke on. I think we're ready to go. No, I'm wrong. I'm not smart enough. This one has a choke lower. All right, now the choke's on. While we're changing the wheel and fitting the bagger system on, we might as well put the thing on the charger. You know, a battery at 7.7 volts or whatever it was probably isn't going to come back, but hey, you never know. It's not going to hurt anything to have it on the charger. It may not be the best jacking point, but we're going to use that spot right there, which holds the front of the mower. Yeah, like I said, it's really not the best. You can't jack on that because that's just a flimsy muffler guard. And there's no other way of really getting on the wheel, so that's what we'll go with. Of course, it doesn't fit under it. 2x4 shoved under the tire. Now we're under there. Just enough to get the wheel off the ground. She's a bit floppy. Just need to remove this clip right here. Washer. All right, there is just nothing in that side, is there? And not a whole lot left. I'm not sure if those were real bearings or I thought they were just plastic inserts, but they might have been real bearings in there. The good news is the shaft looks okay. So assuming it's the same on my mower, and I'm sure it is, we'll just swap it. Now see, that's a grease fitting. And Mitch, if you're watching this, you're supposed to put grease in that. I mean, I'm guilty. I don't take the best care of my stuff either. I was just walking by the F-250 and looked up in the fender well and noticed that I've got some issues here. This should not be hanging down like that. It's been rubbing on the tire. And that canister, the canister may be okay. It may just be I need to pull this up and zip tie it somewhere. Not a big deal. We'll get to that before we drive it again, which is later today because we're driving tomorrow. In addition to a messy work environment with a bunch of leaves from last year, year before, who knows what else are we dealing with? We got this dust cover here. Got to pry that off. I don't know if I can do, I try and do things one-handed is always tough. So you guys just have to wait. What happens when you can't get the cap off because it's gotten hard? Use a little heat from your wife's favorite hairdryer. Even with heat, we managed to destroy the cap. But, you know, hey, it's 15 years old. Good 10 years old, but I think it's probably close to 15. All right, notice this one has some grease in it. So I didn't completely abuse it. So all we got to do is get the clip, same clip, get it off and get the wheel off. First, we probably ought to jack the thing up. All right, she's off the ground. There's mine. There's one we pulled off this mower. Looked to be identical, except for this one's got bearings in it. So I'll slap that on there, fill it up with grease. I'll put the grease cap on. I did bring the grease cap over. And looking at the other one over here on the other side, it doesn't have a grease cap either. So I'm going to steal the grease cap off the other side of mine and put it on here, and then we'll pump both these full of grease. I know the thing was a little hard steering. There should be, yeah, there's a grease fitting right there that should help with the steering too. So we'll have this thing better than new here shortly. I greased the steering. I greased the wheel. The wheel that I just put on, grease started squirting out the back fairly quickly. And I never did get any grease out the front. So I'm going to need to grease that one after I use it. This one over on this side, grease the steering, grease the back of the wheel, and it started squirting out. And it took a lot of grease. This one was pretty empty. So I just need to go get that other dust cap, put that on, and get the one on the other side. And this part's done. I've got the dust cap on this side. I used the hair dryer to heat it up, make it pliable. And then I hooked it along the bottom and then used that little tool right there. No, that little tool right there to just bring it up around the lip. And we did the same to the other side. It's good. So now we got the air compressor over here. It's still got some air in it, so we're going to air all the tires up to about 10 psi. All the tires are aired up. The back tires had about 10 psi. Front ones, this front one here was flat. Over on that side was low. They're both sitting at 10. So now let's put this back down on the ground. Next up is the block off plate. And it looks like we just got a little bungee there. And this is probably what was supposed to be on it originally. Got that. That comes loose. All right, now the question is, what kind of blades? See, this has mulching blades on it. Pretty fancy. I don't know if those things will lift to put stuff up into the bagger or not. We'll mount the bagger up and we'll go try it. Who knows? Maybe I don't even need to lift or pick up leaves this year. Maybe I can just mulch them. I don't have as many leaves to pick up over at the other house because I've taken a bunch of trees down. And over on this property, it's not as big a concern. But let's go ahead and get the bagger mounted on here and see what happens. There are all the pieces. Looks simple enough, right? A couple more things we have to do before we put the bagger on. This wire here, that's not factory. With that plug on the end of it, I suspect that they were set up to tow a sprayer or something, some 12 volt something behind them. So the problem is this area here, that's where one of the mounts is for the bagger. So that needs to come out. And then I was noticing right here, I'm not sure what this is, but this is not supposed to be here. There should be a hole here to hook a clip into. And then we got that zip tie there, we should cut off. So let me do that before we mount up. Remember kids, always use the right tool for the job. The electrical connection, I just rerouted it through a different hole that I'm not using. That shouldn't be a problem. Everything else is done. Let's get the bagger mounted. She's all mounted up. Let's take her down in the grass and try it out, see what happens. You saw it. That's satisfactory. Let's see what we picked up. Look at there. All right, let's move on to something else. Oops, I'm a dumbass. I didn't even think about shutting the mower off. It doesn't have enough juice in the battery to start it. I gotta go with the jumper pack. Closing up shop for the night, trying to get everything inside out of the weather. It's like a jigsaw puzzle in here. Things getting worse. Side by side, you know, now the mower that we're working on today is in here, plus the broken mower's in here. ATVs scattered about, push mowers. Why do I have two? I don't know. This tank sprayer, it doesn't need to be inside except until I get it drained. I got to keep it in here so it doesn't freeze. Log splitter, another ATV. It's just, I don't know. Something's got to be done in here. There's some good news. Battery's all charged up. Remember that thing was down around 7 volts yesterday? Now, whether it really has the ability to keep starting it or not, it may not have the cranking, but yeah, looking good. And let's see. Pull the oil out. Can you see that? I'm going to check it. I can't hardly see it because I can't tell. It looks like it's running clear up the dipstick. Well, here's a moment of truth. Throttle up, choke up, brake on, turn the key. I did top off the oil. There's a proof of it right there on the floor. Jeez. All loaded up and ready to go. In case you're wondering, the air compressor's on there because I've got one water line to blow out over there now that irrigation season is over. The mower, I don't need the bagger, but it's on there. I'll just toss it in the back of the truck while I'm mowing. I did fill up the gas tank, almost forgot that. I didn't tell you the oil level was at the add mark, so I put a little bit in, but it wasn't critical. And I'm also bringing a block-off plate for the mower deck, and I guess we'll try out the mulching blades. So let's get going. Can't mow without my helper dog. Isn't that right, Skeeter? Yeah? Got all the work done over at the rental. Now we're back home, time to unload. What can I say about this mower? This is the first time I'd really use this mower. It's much smoother than my Troy Bilt, but the engine's been getting pretty rough on mine for a while, so maybe once I get it fixed it'll be better. The thing steers harder than mine. The mulching blades, they didn't work very well. I had the cover back on there and I tried mulching everything, but in the end I had to take it off and spread some clippings around. That's all right. It'll get us through the rest of the season. You know, there should only be 1, 2, 3, 4 mowings. It's hard to say. I've mowed into December before, but only a couple more. And then, of course, I took the bagger off when I was over there. And what did I do? I left it over there. I got to go back and get it tomorrow. Let me get all this stuff put away. On my recent trip to Puyallup, just about the time I got over to Puyallup, all of a sudden I started getting a fast flashing right turn signal. Uh-oh, that can't be good. And this is what I discovered. The right rear turn signal wasn't working. Now, normally this wouldn't be a big deal. Usually just be a simple bulb change, right? My luck isn't that good. And with this truck, I've actually had problems with the taillights on it, a broken wire in the wiring harness. So I'm hoping it's as simple as just a bad bulb. So let's check it now. I'm pretty well versed on getting these taillights apart because of the issue I had before. So it's just these two little bolts right there. That'll release the assembly. Well, yay! It is as simple as a bulb. Now I guess the question is there a short or something that caused the other one to burn out? Probably not. It probably just went out. It's kind of funny though. You know, I haven't had light bulbs burn out in years and years and years on all my vehicles. The green Super Duty up there, I don't think I've replaced any of the bulbs in it. Tail lights, headlights, anything. Just an interior bulb. So bulbs last a long time. So this thing being a 2016 and only 60-some thousand miles, 70,000 miles on it, I am kind of surprised the bulb went out. But no big deal. I'm going to be out and about today, so I will buy a replacement bulb and put it back in that side, and we'll call this one fixed. I think I've mentioned it before, but I'm a dumbass. As it turned out, I had a spare bulb in the glove box, and the reason is because when I was chasing taillight issues years ago, I had bought a replacement bulb thinking that was a problem. So not only did I not need to tear that other assembly apart for the bulb to test, but I could have fixed this over in Puyallup instead of driving home at night in the dark with no right turn signal. Oh well, live and learn. That's a sneak peek of what's coming next week. Well, that's going to wrap up this week's Procrastination Garage. I haven't done the final editing yet. I feel like this was kind of a short one. Certainly is focused on mostly just one thing, but that's all right. The reason is today is Thursday. I need to get this thing done tonight and uploaded, even though it won't premiere until Sunday. And the reason is I'm headed out of town, and that'll be in next week's video. So it's important that I get this one done quickly. So I hope you enjoyed the content. I hope you hit the like button. I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you tell your friends. Remember, the goal of Procrastination Garage is to get me outside, out doing projects, so I'm not sitting around watching YouTube like you guys are doing right now. Hey, I do it too. TikTok and whatever, and to get some projects done. Remember, my name is Matt. This is Procrastination Garage, and we will see you next week.